Welcome to today's podcast. I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Stephanie Morejon. She and I have known each other for some years now, and she is actually the operator of a few different businesses. She's got a digital education business, she's got a Tres Leches company, and she's operating the ministry where she does faith-based Bible studies for men and women, mostly women, but she's also been able to travel. We've been able to travel the world, several different countries, and been able to impact a lot of different lives. And I've gotten to watch your journey and watch your story just unfold right before my eyes. And I've seen you like step on stages that you never thought was possible and impact lives. Like I just remember the time that you got to speak in, I think it was Croatia, and you had the whole staircase of students and individuals from all over the world. Just like it was just such a cool experience to see you step into your greatness, into your magic, and to see some of the things that have unfolded since then. It's really awesome to have gotten to see that, and I've been blessed by the things that you've been able to do. And so I'm just super grateful to be able to get to chat more with you today and just experience a little bit more of like what it is that you do and the magic that you bring to the world. So thanks, Steph,
Yes,
for being here. And
I appreciate you. I didn't hesitate when you told me about the invite to be here. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for reaching out and thank you for having me on here.
Sweet. Well, I am excited to talk to you. I've learned that there's a few different things that individuals that do a lot of different things. They have a standard of excellence, and I've always just admired your standard of excellence, like in the way you operate your digital business. And feel free to like tell us like what it is that you do with the digital business, because it is really interesting, like who it is you get to serve and how you get to go about doing that. So first of all, like what it is, what do you guys do? Who do you serve? And then tell us a little bit about the journey there.
Yes, I love that. So my journey started almost 3 years ago. In September 28th, I made 3 years, which is so crazy to think. But I remember just, graduating high school and working a serving and bartending job and just thinking to myself, like, there has to be more out there than the traditional route that we all take. And I come from a Hispanic background. So my mom was always like, go to college, get a degree, work, work, work until you become successful. And for me, I just knew that there was something in me that couldn't stay still with that. Like, no, there has to be something out there. And I got really curious. um, I had
Yeah.
gone to college one semester, I dropped out, and for me, I started the journey just reaching out to somebody that was talking about, hey, financial freedom, what it is to be able to make an income from your phone and travel the world. And I was like, you know what? Heck yes. If they're able to do it, I could do it too. And I've always had that mindset. If somebody else has done it, I can also do it myself. And I remember just starting my journey September 28, 2023, really just immersing myself into digital skills, what it means to be able to learn, the right mindset, the right habits to be able to achieve what it is that you want. So, what we do as a community, and I'm partnered up with Alpha X Society, is we help individuals get educated and also empower themselves in digital skill sets to be able to teach people as well to how is it that they can be able to become financially free. So, it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you can hear the ting going off. I have
I
messages
can hear
coming.
it.
You can hear it?
You're busy.
How can I mute that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
How do
Is
I
it on
mute
your
that?
computer? Is
Yes.
it your computer?
Yes.
Settings. And then
I'm so
pretty sure
sorry.
it's up in the top. That's all good. I'm pretty sure it's up in the top corner. Settings and then sound. You're on an Apple, right?
Yes, settings, but I don't see it. Okay, well,
The
hopefully.
little toggle button.
Okay.
I think if you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, it turns your
It
computer
is.
to
It is
Not
on Do
Disturb
Not
as well.
Disturb, which is why I think it's weird. All right, it's all right. But
That's all.
back to what I was saying, we educate and we empower individuals to learn digital skill sets inside this world that is all about digital stuff. It's where we're going as a whole. And so we have a community of over 1,000 individuals in over 20 different countries, and I've loved what I've been able to do inside the space, who I've been able to become. I think that's the most important part, apart from where it is that we all, join this journey for. Like, I want financial freedom. I love who I'm becoming. And I've always understood that it's not about the destination, but about the journey and who you become. And I've had a lot of great, great fun inside this journey. And when I had that mindset shift, everything changed for me.
That's so cool. It's what do you think that mindset shift, because you heard it growing up, like go to school, get a good job, was it this gradual progressive, like you just started hearing, or was it like observation? Like what was it that you were just like, okay, I gotta chase this kind of thing? Was it more internal, external?
Yeah, I think it was more internal than anything else. I definitely didn't have the right surroundings around me. Like it was very like, let's
Mhm.
get high every day, let's drink. But for me, it was like, okay, what am I doing long term? Because I don't want to spend the rest of my
Mhm.
life going to college. So it kind of just sparked that curiosity for me. Like, what am I gonna do? Okay, I need to figure this out. And so I just started searching, and I believe that when you search, you kind of you know you find. And so
Yeah,
I started reading at 16 the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And that for me was a game changer. I understood the game of money, how it was able to, how you were able to, have wealth and build wealth for yourself. And so it was just, I don't know. I think I would love to say that it was something external, but it wasn't. It was really just that, I can't settle. I need to figure this out. What's going to be my plan? Let's search, you know? And
that's
yeah, I started reading really early, and
that's
I studied a lot of Tony Robbins growing up. Like from 16 to
Mhm.
19, all I was studying was Tony Robbins on social media, on YouTube. And I have so many notebooks filled with his notes. And so, yeah.
that's so good.
Yeah.
It's like curiosity. I think any top performer or high achiever that I've met has been like the most curious, inquisitive like individuals, and they're just like hungry to learn. They'll find whatever it is, like whatever they get their hands on first. And they'll just consume all the information and take all the notes and write all the things. I remember the first person that introduced me to personal development was in 2015, and it was like my soccer coach. And I'm like, why did, or not even soccer coach, we hired in a mindset coach for our team. And I was like, why did nobody teach me this stuff before? It's like, it has been so helpful in my soccer career. Um, but it is cool to see how like people get into personal development, and then how that, like that one little spark of curiosity carries them through, and you just find a new thread and they just go through the next thing.
Yeah. And
Um,
I kind of want to, sorry, I kind of want to touch base a little bit about the topic of curiosity. I think um, we're taught growing up to not ask questions in a way, like, just kind of settle. And I am completely the opposite. I'm an advocate for ask as many questions as you can. Why? And then go another 7 layers why. Um, and I encourage the same thing for people with like, seeking or wanting to find their purpose. Like get curious, you don't find that just by accident. Like you begin to ask yourself, like, what am I put on this earth for? Like, why is it that I'm here? What is it that the Lord wants to do in my life? So I love that you mentioned curiosity because it all starts with asking yourself why and what's my plan and how and all these things.
yeah, curiosity is like the gateway to everything. It's like step one, get curious. Um, that's really cool stuff. What was the first event you attended? Like that just
Ooh.
was it
Okay, like my first event, like business event.
either one? If it was like first impactful one that you remember that was like, ah, I get it now. I got to be surrounded by
Yes, yes, yes,
people.
yes. Man, I'll never forget it. My first event was in Amsterdam, and it's so crazy because
Your
I
first
never.
event was like an overseas in Amsterdam.
It was in Rotterdam to be exact. It was the Rotterdam Ahoy Convention Center, and I'll never forget. I had just started my entrepreneurship journey inside the community of Alpha Society, and I
Mhm.
hear about this. Yo, there's an event happening overseas. Nobody in the community had been able to travel because it was overseas. It was really expensive. I did not have a dollar to my name to save my life to be able to book a flight internationally. But that's where faith meets, your decision making. And anyways, I heard about it and I was like, you know what? I don't know how I'm gonna go out there, but I'm gonna make it out there. And I put my flight on a firm on layaway. Okay, we paid it off
Yeah.
later as we went. I didn't have a ticket for the convention. I just remembered thinking to myself, like, as long as I can get in the room, I promise you everything is gonna be all right. Like some way, somehow it's gonna work out. And that's why I'm so big on commit first and figure it out later. Because when you commit, the rest is going to figure itself out. And so I committed and I got myself over there. I flew, I believe, 16 hours to get to Rotterdam, and I flew by myself. I didn't know anybody that was going out there. As I get there, I meet this individual who I had given a ride to when he was in Miami for an Alex Morton Break the Code event. He was like, "You're the
Yeah.
girl that gave me a ride." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." He was like, "You know what? I actually have a +1 ticket to get you inside, the 6-figure section where all the people that are making over $10,000 a month are sitting." And I was like, I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is God. Like, this is God listening to me. This is what happens when you put your faith to exercise. Like, it was so beautiful to see it unfold. And in that room, I just remembered understanding, like, this is all about repetition. It's all about consistency. It's all about seeing the vision, understanding that you could do this full time. And you have to be able to know that you're going to go through hardships, but that's part of the journey. And as long as you never quit, you're going to get to where you need to go to and where you're meant to be. And so that, to me, that event changed so much of my paradigm, everything, my energy, my frequency. I came back, I quit Top Golf. I was like, you know what? I'm done. Okay. If I can do this full time and I can bet on myself, this is gonna work. And since then, I haven't worked a job. Thanks to God. I've been able to do it full time. And then that's when I, recently just launched another business coming into the dessert side of things, which I never thought would happen, but it's been a blessing.
So cool stuff. You literally, like, I want people listening to know that, like, the amount of faith that it takes to jump before you're ready in any capacity, whatever it is, you're going to be faced with these decisions at some point. And your willingness to just freaking go for it, you never know what's going to happen. And I love that that's it. Like, your first event was literally overseas by yourself. Did you have someplace to stay, or did you just like
I did.
figure?
I did. I
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a hotel, randomly booked it. And then obviously I started making
Yeah.
friends, people that I knew that I had been looking up to for a long time. They were there. And it was just so beautiful. I didn't know I wasn't as close to my mentors as I am today. And I
Yeah.
just remember telling them, like, hey, I'm from Miami. Like, it was so crazy, but it was an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah. I my first event was like in Fort Worth, and I was like 45 minutes away, but I had literal work in the middle. So I went there, came back to work, went there again. And the people that I met there were the ones that helped me get to the next couple events. And I'm just like, you never know
That's
the thing you have to overcome until it unfolds in front of your eyes. So I love that. When um
Events
walk
change
us
lives.
through 100%. Walk us through, like, maybe one of the the things that inspired you to start the Tres Leches. Like, was it you had a passion for like cooking, or was it like my audience loves this stuff? I've just been making this and now I can turn it into a business? Because I know you've been like then now sponsored and won a competition for like
Yes.
best entrepreneur. Like, it's crazy stuff what you've been able to do. How'd that transpire?
Yes, it's so awesome. That journey, the way that it unfolded. So I launched it this year in February 2025, and I always loved baking growing up. Like, but it was something as like a passion. It wasn't something that I saw myself doing as a business side of things. And it was always like cookies or brownies or like anything that I could just put in the oven. I was always passionate about. But funny enough, I every single year for Thanksgiving, I always take a dessert to my aunt's house. And so not this year, in 2024, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make a tres leches. Like, let's get creative in the kitchen. And I started taking it to the family dinner, and they loved it. The kids were nonstop eating it. So I was like, okay, looks like a good, you know, looks like you got a hitter. December comes around, and we have a Christmas party just for everybody inside the team in Alpha X Society, and I take it and everybody's loving it. They coming up to me, they're coming up to my boyfriend, and they're telling us like, "Yo, you guys have a great product. Like, this is really, really good. Like, if you sold it, just know that I would be the first customer." And so around like December 29th, we get a text saying like, "Hey, is there any way that I can buy your tres leches?" And I'm just like, "I don't sell these." But he's like, "No, I'm willing to pay." So I was like, "Okay." Our first sale ever was $95, which was
Oh my
crazy. And in
gosh.
that moment, it was crazy. In that moment, I knew we got a hitter. Like, I literally looked at Abiel and I was like, I'm making an Instagram page and we're making the menu tonight. And I'm going to start doing all these things and we're going to be able to, scale this. And so
Yep.
from February 25 to April, we had done over four figures already inside of the Tres Leches company. And it just
Yep.
started like word to mouth ripple effect. Like one person told the other person, you need to try this, you need to check this out. And really, it was just so beautiful to see the way that it unfolded because I was like, this is like God sent. Like, I can't believe this. I get an invitation to be a part of the YouTube channel that's happening. And I'm walking in there, and one thing that I tell you is, I'm always gonna walk into a place prayed up. Okay, I'm prayed up before I go into any room. And the night before, I tell my boyfriend, I said, "Look, I'm gonna visualize winning these $10,000. Okay, and I want you to hold my hands, and I want you to walk me through a visualization of me already getting the suitcase of $10,000 for Tres Leches, everybody loving the product, and literally." Exactly how he had walked me through the visualization was exactly how it played out the next day. And it was so crazy. I was like, God, this is literally only you. And a lot of it just it's a lot of faith, it's a lot of belief, it's a lot of, what, also knowing like I have a great product even in moments where maybe in the beginning I wasn't, or certain slopes where I wasn't getting as many sales. Let's say for a week, I wanted to increase my sales. I was still making the products because I had faith. I'm going to sell these, and that's where it all comes to play in everything that you do in business. Like having the faith, have exercising that belief of like, I'm selling it, yes or yes. I don't know to who, but I'm going to get it done. And man, I love it. I have such a bold vision for it. I feel like God is given it to me for a reason. I don't know the specific reason for it yet. Um, but it's cool. It's cool to be able to diversify from like online entrepreneurship to being in the kitchen. And I have a lot of fun while doing it with my boyfriend. So it's really awesome. Um, the vision for Tres by Two is really to be able to bring families together. Okay. That feeling that you get when you
Cool.
when you get
Say
the
it again.
first bite, the feeling that you get when you take the first bite, is really what unites people together because it gets everybody talking. This is so good. I can't believe how good this tastes. And it brings people together. And so it's to unite families. It's a pastry that I want to bring to, unite families together. And I see this being all over like London, New York City, all the nice places, Dubai. It's an idea behind it is to have a very luxurious dessert, to bring it to only the high class places in the world. So
Steph, that's so freaking cool. Like, I don't even know. I love that you said that's an exercise. Like, you have to exercise your faith in the process,
also,
and it's a muscle, and you've clearly exercised this muscle in other areas, and therefore, when you got a winner with like the basically you did product research, like you did. I'm in the marketing world, like you did product research before you even did it, and then you got your winner. You're like, Tres Leches, let's go for it.
yeah.
um Customers like, I'm willing to pay for this, and you as a creative entrepreneur, you're like, this is a business, like we got this.
And
And
my
then God,
mind is constantly thinking of that, like anything
yeah,
I come across, I'm like, I could turn this into a business. I could turn this into a business. And it's not that I want to be the owner of all of these business. Maybe at one point, like I feel like God is giving me like creativity. I don't know. I could see it. Maybe
yeah,
it could be like selling a company, scaling, whatever it is. But my mind is always like business, business, business.
I think there's some people that like, what's cool is God gave them the vision of business, like how to build things, how to be a builder. Like they're the ones that come up with the idea, they get the thing, they put the systems in place, and then it's like at some point, sure, you can sell that to a pastry chef, or you can sell it to a somebody who absolutely wants to run that specific thing, but being able to find the right pieces. But it is really cool to watch you build this, and watch God's hand of provision like come through, because like what are the freaking chances that like how many
I
people
don't
were at that
know.
event? How many people were at the event that you were competing against for the 10K?
Yeah, it was 20 other entrepreneurs. Well, 19 because it's 20 including
Yeah,
myself. Yeah.
that's so cool. Like huge
And
congrats
it was
on.
crazy. It was just I can't even I feel like you have to be there to experience these things to know, like when God does something, it's God. So it's like you're watching it unfold.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Tell us a little bit now, switching gears towards your faith journey, because I know that's been like a journey of your own faith discovery, and then you being able to, knowing the background and skills you have in creating community, you've been able to turn this into like a community event and gone international with Bible studies already. Like, it's actually wild what you've been able to do.
Yes, it's literally all God. Like I wish I could take credit for these things, but it's not me. Like it's God, the way that He's moving and giving everything. And so all glory to God. And my faith journey is always been, I grew up in church my entire life. Like every single Sunday, it was me going to church, you know, with my mom dragging me, whether you want to or not. And when I was like 15, 16, you know, you're in high school, you're with a whole different surrounding, you're influenced by different things. So I did drift apart for those years. Um, but I always knew of God, you know. I didn't know him personally, but I knew of God. And when I first stepped into entrepreneurship, I had gotten invited to go to Boot Church out here in Miami. I was like, you know what? Let me check this out. Like, I'm something new. I'm in the midst of transition in my life. I had just left college. I was working until 3 in the morning. It was so bad. It was terrible. And I was with the wrong people. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. So I show up and I really felt like I was home. Like that first encounter, I was like, this is where I belong. Okay. Not in the world. I belong right here. And I really just started going deeper and honing in on my relationship. Like I got so curious. That's why I love the word curiosity, because I got so curious about who am I? What's my purpose? What am I called to do? Who is God? Like I want to know you deeper. I want to seek you. And I just kept going deeper and deeper. And I was like, everything that was happening in my life, I was like, why? And also I think a really thing is in entrepreneurship, you need faith. You need something bigger than yourself to lean on, because you know, entrepreneurship, some months you're up, some months you're not, but you got to learn how to navigate and really stomach one of the hardest things ever in business, and challenges in life and things that you go through. So I think I could not recommend to people enough to build your relationship with your creator. I think we're living in crazy times too. And so my journey has always been in church. And then after, when I was 18, I rekindled my relationship with the Lord, and I just kept going from there. Every single day I love him. I want to do things that honor him. I want people to, you know, see his light and his love.
So cool. Tell us the trip to, was it Germany that you went to?
Yes, Germany. Excuse me. Yes, I did take a trip to Germany. So funny story, I gotta give you a little bit of context so you understand. I
Mhm.
had gone to a business convention in Croatia, and this girl comes up to me and she's like, you know, like everybody's telling me about you. I had just started doing like online Bible studies. I hadn't done in person yet. And I'm really spiritual. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, tell me about your spiritual journey. Like, talk to me. And she was like, you know, I go to tennis schools and I scream and I throw up and I puke. And I'm like, girl, I don't know what spirituality you're in, but that doesn't sound fun. Like that doesn't sound like it's it. Let me tell you the truth. And I remember sitting,
Whoa.
yeah, it was crazy. I remember sitting with her in a Croatia coffee shop, and I just started opening up the word, and I started telling her like, you know, but Jesus says you are, you know, fearfully and wonderfully made, and you're set apart, and all these things. And I was like, do you want to accept Jesus into your heart? And she was like, yes. We did a salvation prayer, and she was really lit on fire. And this was 2023. 2024 comes around. I go on this retreat to Arkansas, and I invite one of my friends from Belgium, and I tell him like, hey, come over here to Arkansas. We're gonna have such a great time masterminding. It was a private inner circle. It was so great. You're in
Yeah.
the mountains. And she's like, you know what? She flies all the way from Belgium over here. Crazy amount of money spent on a flight.
Arkansas. Like,
That's crazy. And we're in the middle of nowhere. It takes an hour to get to where we need to go to. And still looking back, I'm like, that was so crazy. Okay, I didn't even know anybody there. But again, it's all faith. And so as she leaves, we're in the airport and she starts telling me, she's like, you know, I feel like I was called to come here. Like I feel like God has placed you in my life for a reason, and I want to get to know him. And I asked her the same question. I was like, do you want to accept Jesus into your heart? We started doing Bible reading in Chili's, I'll never forget. In the Chili's of the Arkansas airport as she was heading back to Belgium. And she accepted Christ into her heart. And so now they're in Belgium, and they meet up in Rotterdam, and they start building this community, just telling people about the word. Like, this is who God is. This is the gospel. You need to come to Christ. It's a big group of them, around like 60, 80 individuals. start growing and going to church. So
60 to
beautiful.
80 people.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And so they start going to church, they start getting baptized, they start growing, and I'm like, okay, I get called and I feel like God is telling me to go. And it was so hard for me, Grace. I can't explain it to you how I felt, because I didn't want to go. I really didn't. I was scared. I was like, I don't know these people very intimately. I'm staying in a place like I'm staying with people I don't know so deeply in a house in the middle, like, and I was crying. I had a lot of anxiety going over there. I was like, oh my gosh, like, Lord, are you sure? And it was just like, go, go, go. And so I went anyways. I obeyed him. And it turned out to be like one of the best trips ever. I did a Bible study in Germany, in Amsterdam, Belgium. And it was just so beautiful to see how more people were curious. And I think the same thing applies today. People are curious to know about God. People want to know who God is. They don't know where to start. They feel shameful. They feel unqualified. They feel like they're not worthy of love. And those are all lies from the enemy. But people are curious and they're willing and they want to know more than ever. Like, who is my creator? Like, who am I? And so that was the same thing that we experienced in Europe. It was beautiful to see so many lives were given to Christ. They're still growing today, and it's just, I could go on and on and on. They're amazing. One of the girls does full-time ministry now. She's in Bible school, evangelizing in the streets, like just really devoting her life to Christ. And so I always say your obedience is tied to so many other people's freedom. So that's why it's always important to be bold about your faith, be bold about what it is that you believe in, because somebody else's freedom is in alignment to your obedience. So, yeah.
The amount of action, like your ability to just take action, is unmatched. Like, you had already previously been doing like online Bible study, and then God's like, here's these two, like, invite them out. Like, there's zero doubt in me that you just like don't even question God. He gives you a prompting, you're just like, got it, thanks, next.
Yeah, I
And
I think
it's true,
something to
like
work.
the sorry, you
Wait, can
cut
you hear
out
me?
just a little bit.
Oh no, I was saying
Yeah.
uh it's something to work on, because when God gives you an order or a command, whatever you want to call it, when he calls you to do something, it's about how fast you can obey, because delayed obedience is still disobedience. So when he tells you something, it's like, okay, how fast can you act upon the things that he's calling you to do? And obedience is better
Mm,
than sacrifice. You don't want to be able to sacrifice. You don't want to not obey, and then you're coming into this compromise of like, God, but like, let me just do this really quickly. And no, like, that's not what he's calling you to do. And he gives you a specific order for a specific reason.
how'd you start to develop that like inner knowing of like God's voice?
um I think it was just really spending time in stillness. I feel like I'm most connected to him when I'm in the beach, I'm by the ocean, I'm in nature. But I think that when you can get to a quiet place where you can just silence everything and just listen, he can
Mhm.
begin to speak to you, because oftentimes we're like, oh, I can't hear him, I can't hear him. But you have so much noise and chaos in your life that, of course, you can't hear him. You got to be able to tune out the distractions to be able to understand, okay, what does God want for my life? And usually it's that small still whisper that's not the thoughts you would usually tell yourself. But
Yeah.
you just, I guess it's a sermon. Like, it's God. It's not you. It's
Mhm.
not the enemy. It's God.
Because it's not you.
It's
Oh,
definitely
that's
not
so good
you.
stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Now paint a picture for kind of like what you want to do with that community, because I know you're growing it like in person. You've got individuals that are like joining it recently. I've seen some insane like conversations, and some influencers that have been like, wow, this is my girl. Like, what are your plans on doing with that?
Um. Honestly, I'm praying about it. I'm praying that God gives me a clear vision for what He wants me to do. Right now, I'm just being obedient to what He's called me, and it's just to create a safe space for women, that they can feel like
That's cool.
it is possible. I think oftentimes most women, for example, something that I've seen in my Bible study community is that most women don't think that a man of faith is possible. Like they don't think it's real. They don't think it's like most men can obtain until marriage, you know, and it's they only don't believe it's not possible because that's not what they surround themselves with. So when you come into a space where you have men and women of faith, you know it's possible. Like, oh my gosh, you know, I had these standards, but this is what happens when you understand that it is possible. So I'm just being obedient to the call right now, which is creating a safe space, allowing women to step into leadership, in spiritual leadership, more importantly, and just bringing as many. Yes, yes, yes. So you were telling me about the Bible studies on Fridays. Um, so the Friday online Bible studies, you can find them anywhere in my bio on Instagram. And I always post the link every single Friday. It's at 7 p.m. It's through Zoom.
Mhm.
You gotta have an authenticated user account. Very important. Um, but yeah, it's every Friday at 7 p.m. And the women's Bible study in person for anybody that's in Miami, it's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. On the last Tuesday of the month, I open it up to men and women of faith at 8 p.m. as well. So yeah.
Amazing. That's really cool. That's so cool, Steph. Like the amount of different things that you have in the air and the things that God has entrusted you, especially with like the promptings that you've gotten, is really cool to watch you build. And I believe that we all have like time, talents, and treasures, and like to watch you use all of them to the best of your ability is a really cool thing to observe. But it is also really cool to see the amount of impact that comes from that. Tell us a little bit of like what your vision is. I know you've like, aren't you guys going on tour?
Yes. You're tapped in, Grace. I love that. Well, my vision is always it's still the same in every area, and it's my mission is still, you know, whether it's in Tres by Two, whether it's in the online business entrepreneurship, whether it's in ministry, it's always going to be to serve. And I just want to help as many people come close to the best version of themselves, whether it's through bringing families together, whether it's to be able to have financial freedom, whether it's to be able to get to know their creator. Like I keep it very, very simple. My mission and vision is to help, enrich, and educate the lives of as many people as I come across on a day-to-day basis. Um, and just let people know, like, you know, you do have you do have a chance in life. You do have, you know, choices that you can make that could be better, that could be, you know, to better yourself. But it's if you would ask me in a specific category, maybe in online entrepreneurship, it would definitely be to be able to create over 10 six-figure earners over the next 2 years. That's definitely always been my mission. I want to help people become financially free. But overall mission and vision for everything is to be able to serve and impact the lives of many individuals as possibly as they can.
So cool. How do you go about building six-figure entrepreneurs? Like, what does that actually look like? Because I know people hear this all the time and they're like, how is that a job? Like, how does somebody just like, that's their goal is to build a six-figure entrepreneur? Like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great question, actually. What that looks like is running a sales leadership organization, right?
Mhm.
I think it's important that a lot of the times, um, you know, most people want to be able to hit a six-figure mark, whether it's in trading or whether it's in crypto, but they need capital, they need cash flow in order coming in to be able to multiply, because trading is a multiplication factor of money, right? So you need to be able to have cash flow, because if not, anything times zero is always going to be zero. Same thing goes for crypto, same thing goes for any venture that you want to do, e-commerce. So just being able to equip leaders, understanding on how to build a sales organization is something that I equip them with in order to get to their six-figure mark. Whether it's starting off and just understanding an extra $700, it's $700 that you can use to multiply in a trading account. You
Yeah.
know, and you go about that very simple. I get on the phone, I practice the skills needed, how to perfect invite, how to be able to edify properly, and we go over and over and over until they get it. There's a game plan set in action. I think one of the best things about working with Alpha Society is that the system is very structured and broken down, like to the nitty gritty, where if you need to go back and watch a video, you can.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of it is just repetition, repetition, repetition. I do it, you watch me, you watch, you know, and you just keep going until you're doing it and I'm watching you. Um, but hopefully that answers your question. I'm not sure if you
Yeah,
want to.
no, it's perfect. I think a lot of people hear like six-figure business online and they're like, what does that actually look like? Because there's six-figure traders and trading is a whole different skill set. And then there's
Absolutely.
six-figure sales team organizations, and it's a whole different skill set. And there's 6-figure door-to-door earners, and it's like knowing that, like, if I go to this person, if I go to Stephanie, I'm going to learn digital online education, but the product that you're selling is like you're selling the education, and you're learning the skill set of a sales development team. And I think that helps
Yeah.
paint the picture for the individual that's listening and being like, what the heck is that even? Because that honestly was like, I'm like, what is the product like that they're
Yeah.
selling for a long time? I was like, even as I was doing it, I was like, what are we selling? And so
Giving people
yeah, having
I
got
think giving people an opportunity to, just be able to become the best version of themselves ultimately, because whether you're doing trading or you're running a sales leadership organization,
Mhm.
you have to get better, and yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways to do it. I'm a big advocate for network marketing. I love anything having to do with network marketing. I think the reason I found my purpose to begin with was in network marketing. So anything with network marketing, I love.
Yeah, the industry is insane. It's such a cool industry. It gives the average individual, the person who's like dreaming, hoping, wishing, it gives them an entrance into entrepreneurship. And it's like a product, a service, and all they have to do is connect customers to the product and learn that first step in business. It's like, how do I get a client? I don't have to worry about fulfillment. I don't have to worry about any of that. I just got to worry about the first step. How do I get a client?
And, I think the coolest part about what we do is that, individuals are seeing results as soon as they come into this space, right? Whether it's copying and pasting their new trade idea. But I just recently had a mom. She joined us. She is super young. She's 22, and she has a 7-month-old baby. She's working a job, but she's hungry. And she came into this like, I want to make money. I want to fund my live account. I want to do whatever it takes. She came into this. She just withdrew $100 yesterday from her trading account, and I think naturally, as you have results, your confidence level rises. And as you have confidence, you naturally have a belief level that's higher, right? And you have a different influence level because now you're speaking from a place of conviction. Like, no, I know that this works. It's like, you can't come to me and tell me network marketing doesn't work. You can't come to me to tell me crypto's not real. You can't come to me to tell me that trading, you can't tell me these things because my conviction level is a lot higher because I have results. I understand what it takes. I know what it is. I know how it works. Like, I know these things, right? So when you have that belief level and you have that conviction level, a lot of things change for you and you naturally have a different posture in approaching and letting others know. I think if I didn't know that it was life changing, maybe my approach towards other individuals about what I do wouldn't be the same. But since I know it's life changing, it's like, you can't shut me up about this, you know?
As a trader, I'm always curious, what was the first time you ever saw trading work? Like, you were just like, wow, I can make dollars from pressing buttons.
Yes, it was so crazy. I had funded it up with, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say numbers on here, but I had funded it up with 250, and I remember back then it was like my third month in. I was really really dedicated to becoming like a grand master trader, and it was so crazy. But I was studying like smart money concepts when I first started.
Yeah.
I shifted later on, but it was around my third month. I started withdrawing from my trading account, and I was like, I can't believe this. I was in Rotterdam,
Yeah.
okay, when this happened. I was like, I cannot believe that this is real. Like, I just withdrew. I had doubled my account, and I just withdrew. I'm over here like not working a job. That's also why I quit my job too. Which, not that is recommended, but
But
whatever. It ended up working out. But it was crazy. It was crazy to see that, like, this is possible. Like, this is something that most people, they wish they want to, but it takes time to learn the skill. It takes time to understand that this is a lifelong skill that can pay you a lot of money,
Mhm.
but you got to be able to put in the work.
Yeah, I think it's always like the caveat is like, you were a student first, student,
Right.
this demo. None of this is financial advice. But that, yeah, I love hearing the actual story, because like the first time I ever made, like, I took a gold trade and it was like 6 minutes, and I'm like up more than I was in an hour of work. And I was like, it's not even that much money, but I was just like, 6 minutes for,
I think, yeah, I think just experiencing that, like, raises your belief. Like, yo, I used to exchange my hour, like my time, to make this in 1 hour, and just being able to see it in minutes is like, dang. Oh, my computer.
no worries. Uh, But yeah, that's really cool stuff. And it does increase the belief level, but your conviction on what it is that you do, it comes from an actual acquired skill. And so I love that you guys have systems in place, and you guys have one of the most dialed in systems for what it
I
is.
love it. I'm proud. Okay. I'm proud to be an alpha Xer. It's great. It's great. It's super structured. It's very down to the nitty gritty. Like from where somebody is like brand new beginner to like, how do I advance? It's
Yeah,
amazing.
now you guys have a dialed in system. It's really cool to see. Um,
Yes.
what do you think as we wrap this up? Like, what do you think the X factor is for the individuals that you work with? Because like they come in all different shapes and sizes, all different backgrounds, all different individuals, all different industries. What is that one common thread that you have that people come to you and you're like, you can tell they're going to be successful?
Dang, this is good. Usually it's when people like, for example, whenever I get started working with somebody, I set standards and expectations from their first call. Um, And when I know this person, like I know people are serious about that business and I know they're going to be successful when you give a task, they not only have it done by the time that you set the deadline, but they do it before time. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love working with people like this. And also the way that they show up, the way that they're always participating, the way that they're always asking questions like what can I do? What do I need to listen to? How can I grow? How can I become better? I'll tell you, when I first started my journey, I remember my mentor telling me, like, what do you need? Closed mouths don't get fed. And that always stuck with me because if you're not asking questions, if you're not participating, if you're not, how can I become better and improve? Then you most likely aren't growing to your best of your abilities every single day. And when I see that in other people, I'm like, yeah, you got that thing you just can't teach. Like you got that. You
Uh,
got that.
I love it because you as it's the I think the sign of a good coach and a mentor or anything is like they can see potential, and it's like you just need that one little X factor, and you just pull that out of them. So
Yeah,
that's really cool. Uh,
I love that.
Amazing stuff. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today and sharing all of the stories. I love giving the context behind having people hear the context because there's so much that goes into it. There's the faith side of it. There's the logistics. There's the doubts and worries and fears and belief that comes from all of the things that we do. It's like everybody sees the pretty stuff, and then it's like but there's so much context and perspective behind, and we get to do those on podcasts and conversations. And so thank you for spending your time here with us today. And the name of this podcast is Winning with Grace, and so
Is what
winning with grace. And so
I love.
the ability to win in multiple different areas, but also in the most graceful way, because I believe that we can always have wins. I was like, I believe we can all win, like in whatever area, whatever lane that we're trying to win in. We don't have to. There's a healthy dose of competition, but there's
Yeah.
this ability to win. So, my last question for you is like, how do you win with grace?
Um, that's a good question, actually. And I love and I love the name of your podcast, Winning with Grace. Like that's so beautiful. I think that's a good question. I think just you got me thinking, girl. Um, I think just understanding that it's not about you.
Mm,
And sure, winning is great, and winning is more fun than fun is fun, but winning with grace is understanding that it's not about you and it's about the generations to come and it's about the people that you are to impact. And I just love that. Like, you have like it's awesome and I love winning, but winning with grace is just, hey, there's a bigger picture to this. There's a bigger reason why we do these things. And I just think that amplifies the vision a little bit more.
that's cool. I really love that. I don't think it's a mistake that my parents named me Grace.
Either I was actually thinking about that the other day. I'm like, yo, Grace has a pretty nice name.
I was like, that's cool.
Beautiful.
Was sweet. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for your time and for your insight, and for all of the moments that nobody saw in the dark that you chose to step forward in faith and do it, because I've seen the lives of my life and thousands of people's lives, and I know that's going to have a ripple effect within the kingdom. So it is really cool to see and super grateful for you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you having me on here. And honestly, I can't wait. Hopefully, I see you soon.
Where can people find you?
At Stephanie.mjn with, yeah, .mjn. On Instagram, TikTok is my Stephanie Morejon. Yep, that's it. I only use TikTok and Instagram.
TikTok and Instagram. Awesome. Thanks, Steph.
I appreciate you, Grace. Thank you for having me. God bless.
Bye.